Hey everyone, welcome to Wednesday night OWCP Chats with Chris and Gini. We're going to wait until about 10 people get on real quick here because we keep repeating ourselves what we're going over. So
if you're watching this pre-recorded, not live, and there's dead air, hang in there because it's not going to stay that way. That would be a pretty boring show.
In the meantime,
hi everybody that's jumping on.
In the meantime, for those of you that haven't bought the book yet, where's this glare coming?
Hey Ron.
If you haven't gotten the book, a lot of people in the last 2 weeks, ever since we had the discussion with attorney Eric Blowers, have had a ton of questions, and you can find it in this book. We're not trying to say here pushing this book in your face, but if you have it, it's such an easy read. And so get the book, go to breakingowcp.com. It's $14.95 with free shipping. And Chris is going to be starting book number 2.
I've already started
soon.
it.
Oh, well, I finish it soon. So get the book, $14.95.
Hey Mike, Maureen, Jerry, what's up?
Hello.
And yeah, I mean, look, you can come here and get all your questions answered, but you're only going to get a couple of topics at a time. They're all in this book. That's why we keep telling you about it. And not enough you have it. This is not me scolding you, but this is me saying, get the book because it belongs in your hands, not mine. It was written for you. So go to breakingowcp.com, breakingowcp.com, and get your copy today.
Lisa Johnson-Clapp said, got the book. Coworker got hurt. She said, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Cheryl said, good evening. Is there New York way? Is there some way I can talk to someone personally for assistance?
Yeah.
I'm having a ton of OWCP issues. In a few minutes, I'll go ahead and pin the comment. Whoops, right there. I'll pin our phone number, and you can give us a call there.
And anybody can call us, message us on Facebook. There's private messaging. Yes, we're happy to help. That's what we're here for. So if this is your first time here, we train on OWCP every week. It's geared towards you, the federal employee, and to help you avoid the pitfalls of OWCP. And there are many, and those of you that have gone through it know all about it, which is what this book's about, by the way, to help you avoid, falling into an OWCP crater. But when you're here, we're training you for free. This is open to all federal employees. Sometimes people jump on who are employees of private agencies, state agencies, whatever. Thanks for being here, but this is not for you. This is only for federal agency employees. So if that's you, welcome and thanks for coming. Everyone share this now. Just go on and hit the share button and get back here. If you'll hit share, everybody in your newsfeed will see that you're watching it and have a chance to see it as well. And then for those of you that are here new and those of you that are here every week and still haven't done so, hit the like and follow button on this page, Wednesday night OWCP Chats. That way you're notified every time it goes live in case you forget. Many of you are regulars and probably won't forget, but go ahead and hit like and follow on this page. Last year in 2019 we had over 400,000 views of our live videos, which is incredible and we appreciate it. But we have just over 600 people liking and following the page. So 400,000 views, 600 likes and follows. So all of you can just make a click, like and follow, click it. So click, like, follow, and share. So, she's going to do her hair the whole time, and we'll just keep talking OWCP.
So when we were in McKinney, Texas, at our franchise there.
I'm using this as a mirror.
Yeah. And we met with Alice, who came from far away to meet with us. She said she loved us. She looked at us like we're superstars, and we don't want you guys to look at us like that. Like, we're everyday people. You see what I post on my regular Facebook pages when I have Gizmo. We're just regular people here to help.
Yeah, and I'm going to autograph the book because so many of you ask, but believe me, I'm not famous.
She brought her book.
You have not seen me on TV or any movies. I'm not famous in any way.
She brought the book so Chris can sign it, not realizing Chris already signed it. And she says she likes when I'm always playing with my hair. But there's a fan above me, and it's blowing my hair. So that's why I'm doing that. All right. All
right, go ahead and share. Share, folks. We're going to be talking about stuff that's important, so get your coworkers on here.
Holly got the book. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly.
Let's see. Jerry, hello, from Virginia. Maureen, hello. BK Harvey, hello. Okay. So while we were away,
Let's talk about what we were doing.
we were in Memphis, and we just, Dr. Wooten, what's his first name? David Wooten. He has an MD named Dr. Sid, and his staff. We were there finishing up training, getting them set. They've already been seeing a patient or two, and they're so excited to help federal employees, and we're excited. I know there's people from Nashville. It's a little far, but somebody had reached out to me, so we'll see how that goes. But
That's Memphis, Tennessee. So if you're in that area and you're a federal employee, you're going to need help. So the Wooten Clinic, you'll find all this at federalinjurycenters.com. All the offices are listed there. Memphis is listed, and we are also in McKinney. She's probably going to talk about that.
yeah, and so then we stayed in Memphis with Tom, our partner Tom, for 2 days, and then we flew to McKinney,
Texas.
and then we had a meet and greet there in McKinney, Texas, and we had a couple patients that came by to say hello, talk to Chris one-on-one privately about the injuries, and we met with this Alice and her husband, and what we told her, she was kind of shocked because she's with the DOJ, and she was shocked that she didn't know about this information that we told her, and so she's going to get taken care of now. And we also met with 2 more doctors in South Dallas. What area?
It's in Oak Cliff, which is basically South Dallas.
So we will be
Great guys. We just met them, and we really hit it off.
Yeah, so they're going to be coming on with us.
In fact, one of them reminded us exactly of Dr. Rushamwala that's here in Clearwater.
Oh yeah, he looks like Dr. Rushamwala's
These guys could be
brother.
brothers. Yeah. Like their attitude, their demeanor, the way they look. So I know we're going to hit it off because Dr. Rushamwala and I hit it off awesome as well, like right away.
Oh, Kara Henderson said, "Tell that to all the workers you've helped. You are heroes."
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We really appreciate that.
George Galvin said, "You were right down the street. Frisco here." Hey, we let you guys know that we were going to be there. You guys
Come on, George, let's go. But we've met before. But yeah, we're in McKinney, right off El Dorado Parkway.
Yeah.
And for you, George, and Frisco, that's like a 20-minute drive if you're in traffic, so that's no big deal.
So tell your folks about Federal Injury Centers of Birmingham with Dr. Harper, or Federal Injury Centers of Norwood in Norwood, Massachusetts, Federal Injury Centers of Clearwater, with Dr. Rushamwala.
McKinney.
Federal Injury Centers, the McKinney. I'm saying with the cities so you guys know. With McKinney, with Juanita and Nina and her team. Jennifer, it can be there on site as well. And Federal Injury Centers of, what am I missing? Oh, Memphis with Dr. Wooten. So all these chiros that you guys hear us say.
No, not chiropractors.
Have MDs.
Just kidding. You can have chiropractors.
Yes. So, with that said, we're going to go over the 3 things that we've heard this week has been completely crazy. So here are the 3 things we're going to go over. What do you do when your claim gets denied? So that doesn't mean you give up and life is over and you're done. And also the time frame. You guys don't wait for the less than 20 days to call and say, I can't find a doctor.
Yeah.
And you need help. The second thing we're going to cover is what do you do when you're about to retire and you happen to have an injury?
Yeah.
And then the last thing, because I've had to send this out to a few people while we were away, the rules, laws, and regulations of when a supervisor refuses to fill out your paperwork. Because there are laws that they have to follow, and if they don't follow it, there is a price to pay. So,
is that happening to anybody? Your supervisors are not agreeing to help you fill your forms out?
remember the ones I was telling you about?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
this
yeah,
is...
that was
yeah,
rhetorical. I assumed that they wouldn't actually answer me back.
So,
but feel free.
I'm answering for them. So, first thing, what do you do when your claim gets denied? Do you forget about it?
Freak out and run like crazy.
Yeah, that.
No, I have this sign that says, in case of hurricane or in case of something, freak out and run like hell. Don't do that. When you have a denial, what we get all the time is my claim was denied, that damn claims examiner's out to get me. Or my claim was denied, I don't understand, why don't they understand that I'm actually hurt? Or why don't they believe me? Or my supervisor, my agency, is trying to prevent me from having my claim approved. My agency's out to get me. They may be, but they have nothing to do with this. There's so many things we hear all the time. But what you have to do, the first thing I would say, when you receive a denial, here's what's going to happen. You're going to get a letter in the mail from the United States Department of Labor, and you're going to open that envelope instead of throwing it away. So many people just discard this stuff, but you can't do that. You have to open it up. You have to read every letter that comes to you from DOL. In this letter, it's going to say that your claim was approved or it was denied. If it says it's approved, it'll tell you what your approved conditions are. But if it says it's denied, somewhere in the first or second page is going to have a paragraph that starts with, specifically, your claim was denied because. Write that down. Specifically, your claim was denied because. And then they're going to give you the details of why it was denied. So what you do is you need to read that, circle that paragraph, take it to your doctor. And I'll explain to you why in a second. But when you receive a denial, you have to appeal it. And we used to have people all the time come on here, or we'll read on Facebook pages, and they would say, appeal, appeal, appeal.
Yeah.
But that really doesn't mean anything. It's very confusing. There are multiple forms of appeal, and this is written in detail in the book, and I'm going to reference the book a few times tonight, about denials and what to do. But on your denial, the last page is a form called an appeal request form. Appeal request form, and it's got 4 check boxes. You want to ignore all the other ones and check off reconsideration. Reconsideration, okay, that's very important. Because in a reconsideration, you have 12 months to turn in your appeal, or 12 months to request reconsideration. The other forms of appeal don't give you nearly that much time, okay? We're talking a fraction of that time. So, but if you do a reconsideration, you have 12 months. The other thing you have is an unlimited number of reconsiderations that you could file. So let's say you get a dozen denials in a row. You can do 13 requests for reconsideration. In other words, you just keep reconsidering. The key to the whole thing on having that 12 months for reconsideration is that you supply Department of Labor, your claims examiner, with new information to basically combat the denial. You can't just send in the same old stuff because they're just going to deny you. The only way you can do reconsideration is if you submit something new to them to have to reconsider. So remember back to the letter, I said find the specifically your claim was denied because paragraph and circle it. Take that to your doctor and say, hey doc, my claim was denied and here's why. The doctor reads that and writes an appeal letter, okay? And the letter the doctor writes, or the narrative, is addressing the specific denial reasons and then giving the rationale why it should be approved based on that denial. And so that's the new information. So every time you receive a denial letter, your doctor writes a new narrative report appealing that denial, and that new report is your new information, and that qualifies you for a new reconsideration that you can file every 12 months. We've had people that have had 6, 7 denials. So many of them came to us with multiple denials already, and they came to us for the first time. And because these deadlines were not missed, the 12-month deadline, we were able to get those claims accepted. And so the next thing you want to think about, besides, don't panic, is don't give up. Don't think, gosh, it's all over. I was denied, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. There's nothing I can do about it now. It's over. It's not over. It's never over until you give up. And so don't give up. If you give up, then we don't really have a choice but to give up with you. But as long as you are willing to keep fighting, so are we. I say we, I mean federal injury centers. And we'll talk more about federal injury centers later. But your doctor should be willing to continue to fight with you as long as you're willing to. And that fight is an appeal request form where you select reconsideration, get your doctor to write a new narrative based on your denial letter, and submit that to Department of Labor for your reconsideration. Usually they ask you, the patient, to write your reason, or write a paragraph for why you're reconsidering it. And the reason why is my doctor has new information that I want to submit. It's pretty simple. So you have to do that. That's very important. But I can't stress enough, if you miss the timeline, the 12 months, it's over. 12 months in one day, and you cannot appeal at all. You've missed all of your windows. So you don't miss. Every time they send you something, get right on it.
All right. So, while he was saying that, I was sharing. Maria, hello. Hope you're doing okay.
Hey, Maria.
Kurt Hoagland said a CA2 supervisor never filled out their portion and the CA17.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that. That's one of our topics. I'll be sure and mix a CA-17 into that topic. Don't worry about it. I'll cover both of them. Thanks for your question.
Tona said, my doctor won't write a narrative for me. I'm worried.
Yeah, I'm worried too. I'm worried that you're going to stick with that doctor and not change a new one.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Which reminds me now, go to my website, breakingowcp.com, and there's a tab that says free downloads, and they really are free. They are PDF documents that help you in certain circumstances. One of those is a form to request a change of treating doctor. So print that form. It's free at breakingowcp.com. And if you have a doctor that refuses to help you, you need to find a new doctor. And this form is a guide to help you change doctors.
Yeah.
Now, I don't recommend you change doctors when you love your doctor. I don't think you should change doctors when your doctor's doing a great job and when they have your best interest at heart. Those are good doctors. But if they refuse to do their job, they have to go, or
Yeah.
you have to go.
Teresa says, that did happen to me. After a year and a half, I heard you say that I had 3 years to file. So my new management, upon some precautions, did actually fill out my paperwork and my case was approved. So thank you.
How about that? Yeah, you have 3 years to report. Speaking of deadlines, you don't have 30 days. And I go into great detail in the book on this. It's not 30 days or 3 weeks or 2 days or anything like that. You have 3 years from date of injury to report your injury and still get medical attention.
Yeah, so it was funny while we were away. A bunch of people started messaging us and saying that their supervisor said there's no such thing as 3 years. They had to get it done. And I said, no. And
I wish you would buy the
him,
book and give a copy to your supervisor, because there's a huge section in here from the Code of Federal Regulations and the U.S. Code explaining the actual law behind the 3 years. I'm not making this up. It's the law.
Oh, yeah, and Alice did say, so funny, that she bought the book, and she bought 2 copies, and she gave one to her supervisor.
Which is
was
wonderful.
Funny. We were cracking up.
I actually love it, because the last chapter, I think it is chapter, no, it's the second to the last, chapter 15, is a chapter that I titled, Just in Case, meaning just in case they want to read it, Management Lessons in Leadership and Effective Management. So if you get this, you can give it to your manager and ask them to read it, because, among other things, I have 20 years of high-level management experience and a master's degree in management. So I can speak expertly about it, and your supervisors should pay attention and quit treating you so badly.
Yes. Christopher says hello.
Hey, what's up?
From California.
California.
Mike Joseph said, hey all.
Hey, Mike.
Kara Henderson said, can you also cover expanding your current case with additional injuries in your next book, too?
Oh, absolutely.
Injuries that are related to your current injury, spine to limbs, as an example, due to nerves.
Yeah. Diagnosis expansions, as well as consequential injuries. Consequential injuries will be an important topic in the next book.
Okay, Kelly said, when you can't get the doctors to cooperate, can you get with your doctors and OWCP not push back because you want that particular doctor?
So I think what you're asking is, if you're having a hard time with your doctor, can you change to our doctors without having a problem with your claims examiner? And the answer is sometimes, and it depends on who your claims examiner is, what district office you're at. There's a lot of factors in it, because we are dealing with fallible humans, that I don't even know. Maybe some of them are qualified and some of them aren't. But you may have a hard time, and if you do, we work through it. But one thing for sure is you can't set at a red light that never turns green.
Yep.
What are you going to do? You're going to get hungry. So you're going to have to run the light eventually.
Paul Anderson said, I'm hired. My hired law firm does not understand the time frame for reconsideration.
You might be using the wrong law firm. So let us know. We're happy to help with that too.
Eric Wilson said, thank you for your help. Attorney Blowers took my case and is working on it.
Yeah, you're welcome, Eric. Eric?
Yeah, Eric and Eric.
Eric, yeah.
Talisha Lockhair, can they close your case and not tell you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we actually had this question when we went to McKinney from a patient, why her case got closed, and she didn't understand until we started explaining the amount of money that your claim has to reach.
So here's the issue. This is the most common reason for a closed claim, and it's so ridiculous. Like, when I bring on a new doctor to Federal Injury Centers, among the first things I tell them is, if money is your primary driver, you don't get to work with us.
Yep.
Okay? If patients aren't number one, then you're not a federal injury centers doctor. So I really train them. Actually, I try to find them that way, but if I can't find them that way, I train it out of them. I train them not to make money the most important thing, because it shouldn't be. Your health is the most important thing, and then the money will follow. Don't worry about it. But with that said, if your claim doesn't pretty quickly hit $1,500, they close it. And it's an automatic closure. And but the good news is that once it hits $1,500, it automatically reopens. So that's the primary reason a claim will close, is because inactivity, basically. They think, oh, this is closed because there's nothing else happening. The person's not getting help. They must be better.
And it can get reopened because we heard from the lady we were talking to that she said that her friends, and this is why we tell you guys to get your friends watching us, that they heard it can't get opened, and it can.
It can.
She was totally surprised. She was like, "Are you sure?" Asking him.
Yeah, and then
if he was sure.
another common thing is a case is it reaches its endpoint, right? Like you've gotten all the treatment you can get, you're back to work, and you're all better, right? And then so it closes, but then you have a recurrence, right? A CA2A. Well, that 2A form is there to reopen an old claim. So that alone lets you know that there's a possibility of reopening it, because why do they have a form? This job is to reopen it. So yes, these things can be reopened, and we take it case by case, but I rarely find a closed case that we can't get reopened.
Yeah, and on top of that, I remember when we first started doing this here with another doctor, there's a little old man, I think he's still being treated right now. He's 89 years old, worked for the post office in Jersey. And he came here, he called, and he says, I don't want anything, I just want therapy. And we were able to get his case open, and he goes to get therapy.
Yeah.
So, does anybody have any more questions on when your claims get denied and the time? Did you talk about the time frame, like the 20 days? And because I was posting.
Well, it's not 20 days. You have 12 months to reconsider.
Yeah.
3 years to report and 12 months to reconsider.
And the 3 years to report is true. If the supervisor, Gizmo, if the supervisor won't believe you, either contact me, go on Federal Injury Center's Twitter page, all the rules are there, or check the book. So we're going to keep on moving. The next thing we're going to talk about is, oh my God, I forgot.
I know, but I'm not telling.
Okay, you didn't just do it.
So what are the rules?
Yeah, oh, wait. Let's see if anybody had anything to say. Mike Joseph said OWCP has max fees an attorney can charge. What is the cap limit?
So I'm not sure what the cap a lawyer can charge is, because I'm not one of them. But I know that they're not able to charge a percentage. They basically have to charge you by the hour. And, at that point, you're just kind of shopping around. If you had two good lawyers and they're equally good, I'd find out which one charges least per hour. Because neither one of them can legally take a percentage of anything from you. I think that's the key.
And you guys wind up sometimes with bad attorneys, and not to knock any of the attorneys out there, but when it comes to federal stuff, contact us first. Or you guys hear us talk about Eric Blowers all the time. We had him last week live with us, 2 weeks ago live with us. You can check it out.
Yeah.
We left the post up. So call us first before you wind up going down a route that you don't want to go to. Amarilli said, hi from Chicago. Went to Dr.
Hey.
Patron, started seeing him. I felt defeated and devastated last week. Now a ray of hope. Thanks a million. I know we were working on this and you were very, very scared, but I told you he was going to give you some positive stuff, and there you go.
Yeah. And look, you're not alone. And those of you that are watching and you think, gosh, I'm the only one this happens to, trust me, it happens to everybody. And that's a strong statement, because everybody's pretty extreme, but almost nobody, a very small fraction of people that are injured, have no problems. Everybody's got some problems we have to work through. And that's what we're here for. We help you work through the problems. I want to talk about something, though, speaking of that, working through the problems. We heard about, when we were in McKinney, a guy in Texas. I don't know his name, so I won't say it. I don't know what city he's in, so I won't use it. But I'll say this. This guy, I think he puts himself out there to sort of be like me. And there's a big difference. I charge you $0. Nobody's ever gotten a penny.
And our doctors charge $0 too.
Nobody's ever paid us a penny. It's in our laws, our bylaws of our company. We don't take money. Even if we do a bad job and don't get your claim accepted, we never get paid if that happens. But we never take your money. But this guy was taking $2,500 from someone to help them with their case. and $2,500 cash to help. Okay, to help get forms filled out, to maybe help find a doctor, to help get the claim approved. A non-doctor, by the way. Help fill out forms. If I didn't say that, but $2,500. And then there's a group here in Florida. I will say the state because that's where here is for me. That charges $1,500 up front and then $150 or something every month. And in the first year, that comes up to about $2,500.
I personally went there.
Yeah, so
I know.
But here's the deal. If you end up feeling like you're in desperation and you think your only option is to go someplace that's going to charge you $2,500 to fill out forms, find a doctor, and get a claim accepted, please don't do that. Please call us. We'll do it for free. We will help you at all times for free. We're in Florida. If you're in Alaska, I'll help you. Okay. If you're 8 hours behind time zone wise in Hawaii, I'll wake up and help you. Don't pay $2,500 to get this. It should be free to everyone. I'm personally offended that anybody takes money from you in your darkest times. They're trying to get your money instead of trying to help you. Like I said, our doctors, money is not their primary driver. Their primary driver is helping and getting your claim accepted at a very, very high rate. So just know those people are out there. If you come across anybody, and they say, lawyers are an exception, but if you come across just a regular guy or woman that says it's going to cost you for me to help you, hang up and call us. It will be free no matter what.
Or like the situation we just had right before we came on live, where there's a doctor, one of the ladies on here messaged me right before we got on saying her claim got denied, and now to do an addendum to her narrative, he wants $2,000.
Okay, so in a narrative addendum,
no,
it might take 2 pages worth of writing. And it might take a doctor 1 hour of time when they're trained to do this, maybe, okay? And $2,000?
$2,000.
That's...
To write something that takes how long?
Yeah, it takes an hour. So I don't ever want you paying cash out of your pocket. That will be your last resort. The only way I want you to pay cash out of your pocket to somebody that's not a lawyer is if you call me, you tell me your whole story, and I'm being lazy and I give up and I tell you to go pay somebody, which will never happen.
Exactly.
So don't do that. All right,
so when you come to any of our clinics, anywhere, or any of the doctors that we've trained, well, 90% of them, they'll never ask you for a check, a debit card, credit card, anything. You just go with your driver's license.
And by the way, what I'm saying is not going to be popular to that guy and the person here and other people that take cash from you. It's not going to be popular. I'm not here to win friends in that in that area.
Paul Anderson said he was quoted $2,650 for a narrative. What?
That's unacceptable. That's appalling. We will. You're not always going to be able to come to a federal injury center's doctor, so it's not fair. I'm saying we, but good doctors, okay, doctors that care, doctors that know what they're doing, they're trained. They're not going to do that. They're not going to take cash from you to write a narrative that's in their job description to write. I mean, it's like the second chapter in our training, right behind compliance, how to write a narrative. So they're not going to do that because when they do a great job, Department of Labor will pay them.
Yeah. Talisha, right there, where I pinned the comment right there, down below in the middle, right there. That's our number to contact us. And Carol, you said, do you have Federal Injury Center offices around the nation, or do you just travel to each state? So when you see McDonald's, we'll be like the McDonald's of federal offices to help you guys. But we do travel to train if we have to. We do travel to train the doctors and the staff. And so that's what we were doing last week.
Yeah, and if you're unions, invite us out. That's one thing we love about unions is they give us an opportunity to speak to large groups of people at one time, which is super valuable to me. If I'm going to be talking, I'd rather add a bunch of people in the room as long as I'm doing it anyways. Which, by the way, share this. Not many of you are sharing tonight, so please share.
Okay, let me answer these questions real quick. So
and then we got to go to the next topic.
Thing.
Yeah.
So that's about our franchises. It'll be everywhere. Skylar says, I work at the post office and had a really painful slap tear in my shoulder and required surgery. My OWCP claim was denied almost 6 months ago, and now I don't know what steps to take next. It's so hard to find someone that will help you with the denied claim and walk you through. So Skylar, we could help you with that. The number below, give us a call tomorrow and we will help you with that.
Your next step is reconsideration.
Yeah.
Like we talked about in the beginning.
File a reconsideration immediately.
You need it because you're 6 months in. That means you have 6 months to go before you don't have an opportunity. So get that filed.
Chris Mack, you said DOL has denied paying for my accepted claim. Call us because I want to hear about this.
So yeah, because they're not paying your doctor because your doctor's just doing a bad job if they're not getting paid on an accepted claim, or they're not paying you compensation. That's a different subject, and we can help you with that.
Judy, no, we don't have any clinics in Waukegan or Gurnee, Illinois, but we are coming to South Illinois, Federal
Definitely.
Injury Centers. Paul, you said, yep, I never did it. Now I'm up the creek and need one. Paul, give us a call tomorrow.
You're probably not too far up the creek that we can't help. We can't fix it.
And so I'm not going to answer where we have a clinic and where we don't yet. I'll do that at the end. So there's a lot of you that it's asking.
Yeah, because we only have like 7 locations in all
Go
50
next.
states right now. So most of the time, the answer is going to be no, not yet. But at the end, we'll talk about the efforts we're making to find new doctors.
Yeah, okay.
All right, what's the topic?
Oh, I forgot.
I know.
Go, just keep going.
So we wanted to know about the rules on the supervisors filling out forms.
No, that wasn't it.
Well, I'm going to talk about it until you figure out what our second topic was. Because for those of you that have the book, go to page 126. And
126 in the book.
this is special information. It's in the book.
The little black book.
So somebody said that the supervisor wouldn't fill out their forms, okay? And this goes for CA1 or CA2. It doesn't really matter. It's the same rule. But in the Code of Federal Regulations, 20 CFR 10.110, and you can just go and replay this and you to 20 CFR 10.110. It says, what should the employer do when an employee files a notice of traumatic injury or occupational disease? That's, in other words, what should the employer do when you have a CA1 or CA2 injury? And here's what it says in letter A. It says the employer shall, which is absolute, okay? It doesn't mean maybe or should or might. It's shall. They will. It is absolute. They have to do it. The employer shall complete the agency portion of Form CA1 or CA2 no more than 10 working days after receipt of notice from the employee. So no more than 10 working days after you tell them you're hurt, they have to fill out their portion. Okay? It's absolute. The Code of Federal Regulations does not waver on this. They have to do it. And then the employer, it says, shall also complete the receipt of notice, which is part of the CA1 and CA2 packet, and give it to the employee along with copies of both sides of Form CA1 or CA2. So it says, there's 2 things for the supervisor. Number 1, they shall fill it out. And number 2, they shall give you copies of everything. And there's no question about it. So many people don't get copies, and as a result, they have a hard time. Their claims get denied. The supervisors write terrible things on page 2, and the doctors have a hard time writing narratives without a good description of what happened. And so get the book, if for no other reason than you want your claim accepted and you don't want this initial hassle, because you can show your supervisor the rule right here on page 127. I mentioned that I would say the CA-17 also. You have to ask your supervisor for that. That's a duty status report. That form is how your doctor writes restrictions, takes you off of work, or sends you back to work. And it must originate with the supervisor. And so they have to give that to you as well. The rule for that's in the book as well. But you get it from them and take it to your doctor, and then make sure a copy gets back in the hands of your supervisor.
Yeah.
And if they refuse to give it to you, there's a whole thing that we'll go over, but that's in the book. If they refuse to give it to you, I recommend take a look at that, but we can go over it if we have time at the end.
Yeah, Kathy, you said, is this just for federal employees?
Yes.
Yes, all the rules, everything that we talk about. I know a lot of state people get on here, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, we don't do state workers' comp. It's all federal. We only help federal employees nationwide. And the person that asked a question before on that, we do help rural carriers. We help all
We love rural carriers.
We help any federal employee.
Yeah.
You could be TSA, FBI agent, Border Patrol, whatever. We help all of you guys.
And somebody asked me in McKinney, what do I mean when I say I work with the unions?
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I want to be really clear. I think that's an incredible question. I was glad he asked it. I knew exactly what he was getting at. So this is the answer to that. I love the unions. I love all the unions. I love the unions that don't love me back. Okay? And you all know that. And those of you that don't love me back, you know for sure I love you still. We care very much about you. We respect you, even if you don't respect us. And we're going to help those members of those unions no matter what. For us, working with union leadership is an avenue to get to you, to help you. But so is social media. Thankfully, most of the unions don't have a negative outlook towards us. Most of them appreciate the help and understand where we're coming from. They all know we've never taken a penny from you, that there are no ulterior motives, that there's no fraud and all this stuff that you hear about
There is no
from
fraud.
other people,
Yeah.
not from us. We've
That's
got really
funny.
hard and fast rules. But what it means is we work with your unions that want to work with us. And the unions are a good way for us to get to you when you're not seeing us on social media, because thankfully for the unions that have been friendly with us, they've allowed us to help a lot of people for free. Like, we love to do it. I'd fly to Iowa, Washington State. I'd fly anywhere right now, tomorrow, if we were asked to go to do a live training. We love doing it, and we love you, and we love your unions, and that's what that means.
Yeah. Okay, so now I remember what the last thing was. The last thing was, and this is especially for a retirement group on here that watches us too, and for those of you, you're about to retire.
Or you're thinking about it.
Within a year or less, and I get injured. What do I do?
So there's actually a couple of ways that I'm going to approach this. I want to start by people that have been hurt already. Remember that no matter what, you only have 3 years to report your injury. If you think you're going to wait until right before retirement, you might miss your window. 3 years for the CA1 and 3 years for the CA2, okay? 3 years and 1 day, and you're out of luck. So don't do that to yourself. Don't miss windows like that in an effort to, game the system. If you think you're going to retire, you need to report your injury now, okay? You can receive medical benefits through retirement, after retirement. That's fine. But if you wait till after retirement to report your injury, it'll never get approved. I've never seen a single retired person report their injury after the fact, even though it's within 3 years of the injury, and get that claim approved. So you have to report prior to retirement, and I never recommend waiting for any reason, including any reason related to retirement. When you have an injury, you should report it immediately, right away, right now, today, immediately. Okay, the CA10 says report as soon as possible. If you watch this, you know as soon as possible means now, because now is the soonest possible time. So whatever you do, don't delay, because if you do, you can A, miss the window, or B, think you can do it after retirement, and then you're SOL. You won't get that claim approved. So when you're approaching retirement, you should treat it as if it's your first, 3 months on the job. If you're injured, you report it right away, no matter what. If you want it covered, the best thing to do is be timely, don't miss your deadlines, and certainly don't wait till after retirement.
Yeah, we hear it all the time where they're scared to file their injury because they're going to retire. What are they going to do? You're never going to see them again.
Yeah, and it really doesn't make
You
a
know?
difference. So the length of time you have for retirement, whether it's 60 days or 10 years, it really doesn't make it, or 20 or 30 years, doesn't make a difference. The rules as it applies to reporting injuries don't change. They don't vary based on how much time you have to retirement. It's the same rules no matter what. So whenever you're injured or you have a CA2 condition that you become aware of and you realize it's work-related, you have 3 years from that date to report the injury, but my strong recommendation is that you report it today.
Yep.
Never wait. Okay, there's no penalties for you for reporting just because you're close to retirement. You didn't ask to get hurt. And if you're near retirement, that means you did your job 25 to 30 years, and you likely have some aches and pains and injuries, and who knows what you have going on. You have a right to get help. So don't delay. Don't do that to yourself. You work for this country. You made this place go for a very long time in your career. And the very least we could all do is make sure you get the benefits that you earned. So don't wait. Don't miss out on those benefits.
Yeah. Marianne said, what if you're approved, have been off of work because of the injury and considering retirement?
Well, that's okay. I mean, look, retirement is a personal decision, and good for you that you made it that far, that you can actually make the decision. If you're out of work due to an injury, retirement happens when it happens, regardless. At some point, though, you'll stop getting paid by OWCP for being out of work because you're retired, and you'll have to find income from some other source, right? Retirement benefits and so forth. But your health care will continue for the life of the injury.
Yeah. Olive Yant said, my occupational claim was accepted, now trying to get a CA7 paid. OWCP sent letters asking for the surgeon's notes and further information. So we always tell you guys there's 4 things you guys need to attach with your CA7.
And I'm gonna bullet point them here, but for those of you with the book, I want you to know that it is chapter 8 in the book, is avoiding denials and how to get paid. When you turn your CA7 form in, you may have CA7As to go with it. You need to attach your duty status report, if there is one, that took you off of work, CA17. You need to attach any copies or printouts of your doctor's visits. You need to attach a CA20 form. CA20s and 17s you can find at federalinjurycenters.com on the OWCP Forms tab at the top of the page. And you need to attach a disability narrative. It's a short paragraph or however long it needs to be from your doctor explaining why you need to be off of work or you need it to be off of work. Attach all that stuff and send it in with your CA7 form. That's super important. And get copies of everything. Don't just like send it off, because you also have to give it to your supervisor to fill out page 2. So make sure you have a copy of everything just in case it gets lost in the trash can.
So Wanda, you said you needed the book. If you
Everyone
look
does.
right there down at the bottom, I pinned the comment, 1 to our phone number and 2 where you can buy the book. It says it, www.breakingowcp.com. It says to buy the book, go to. It's $14.95, free shipping. And, you know, we're coming to the end of the year. Get one for somebody else. Yeah. Secret Santa's coming. Get a Secret Santa gift.
You know, honestly, I believe this. I think you can save somebody's life by letting them have the information. That's why I put this book out. That's why we do this. That's why we train doctors, is because we really believe that there are lives we're saving. We don't know how many, but I know for sure that people are in desperate need of the help, and they're not getting it. So if you can help somebody get the book in their hand, then they'll be so much further ahead. I do want to talk about something related to these topics and related to the book. Right,
and we're not saying we don't want you to call us
to
ask questions, but it's so handy to have. Yeah. This can fit in your car, in your glove box, and your little lockers. So, I mean, that's the only reason why we tell you guys, so you could educate yourselves. And if you miss our program, then you can have the answer at the hands.
Yeah, we really want you to show up here. Please do.
Tips of your hands.
Don't stop coming here. We really love having you here. And we definitely want you to call. And we're on social media all over the place, like Twitter, at Fed Injury Center. At Fed Injury Center. Oh. There's so many places you can get this information. Don't get me wrong. But when you have the book and you give the book to someone else, you're saving yourself and someone else. So with that said, a couple of little small points related to the topics we've discussed so far. Again, going back to my website, breakingowcp.com, go to the free forms tab or free download tab, because there are 4 forms there. I discussed one of the forms already. Another of the forms is a documentation form for if you're off of work and you see the doctor. You can fill this out, have the doctor sign it, or the doctor fill it out, and you can attach that to your CA7 form. So its purpose is to help you get paid. There's another form on there for an employee statement. When you have an injury, you know it's fresh on your mind. It's a good idea to go ahead and write down everything that happened right there. And then you want to attach that to your CA1 or 2, but you also want to give it to your doctor. So your doctor, in their narrative report, make sure that the stories match up. Not that it's a fake story, but the point is, a slight variance in what they say and what you say can cause a denial.
Yep.
So if you have it written down, you avoid that completely. So there's an employee statement form. There's also a form on there that will assist you in getting a form CA16, so that with a CA1 claim, you can you can have your bills paid for 60 days after the injury. Those are really hard to get. Almost nobody does. And so this free form on how to get a CA16 will make it nearly impossible for your supervisors to deny that form. So go on federal or breakingowcp.com and download those forms. They're free, and I made them because those are the most frequent problems I see. And my goal is I can help you avoid those problems, not just with a book, but with these free forms as well.
Yeah. Everybody's saying, I love that book. I love the book.
I love you.
Chris Mack said, my boss wrote into DOL that her 31-year career, she has never seen anyone injure their foot in the postal floors. Well, maybe she hasn't, but there has been.
I've been doing this since... I've been in OWCP since 2007, and I've seen dozens of feet injured on the postal floor. What are you talking about? Stuff can fall. You can trip and sprain your ankle. There's so many ways. You could stub your toe on something, and you can cause damage. Plantar fasciitis happens from just being on your feet every day for years. There's so many ways you can hurt your foot. Tell your supervisor to show you their medical license. They don't have one.
Show them the book.
Yeah. They don't have a medical license. I don't either, by the way, but I know more than they do.
Aw, Teresa said, looking great as always. Makeup looks awesome.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Carol says, when is the next book coming out?
It's a work in progress. I'm having to put more effort into it. You know, the first one, we're in the midst of like this lockdown, where most of us are kind of out of the lockdown now, and I had time on my hands, so I sat and wrote it right there. This one is about halfway done now, and but some of the topics are pretty. They're complicated topics, and I'm trying to make them uncomplicated, so it's taking a little effort.
Yeah. Sarah, you said it's so hard finding doctors who'll take federal work comp, and you're looking for somebody in the Bronx.
We're going to have an office there within the next 12
Bronx.
months.
Yeah.
In the next 12 months, we'll have offices in at least 3 of the boroughs.
Is it 3 or 4, what they said?
Manhattan, the Bronx, and Queens.
Yeah. So we're coming.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all we have to... Oh, Belinda said, is a chiropractor considered someone you can go to for an injury, or is this a no-no?
Thank you for asking that, Belinda. The Code of Federal Regulations is very clear on what chiropractors can and cannot do. Chiropractors cannot be treating doctors. They can assist doctors, because doctors can have anybody assist them, okay? I'm not licensed. A doctor, a medical doctor, or a DO can ask me to assist them. So a chiropractor can assist a doctor. That's important because the medical doctor gets to choose who the assistants are. They don't have to be licensed people. The other thing a chiropractor can do is physical therapy. The Code of Federal Regulations says that a chiropractor can do services in the nature of physical therapy as long as they are prescribed and supervised by a qualified physician, meaning a medical doctor. So anytime you're in a chiropractic office and they're doing physical therapy with you, that's well within the rules of Code of Federal Regulations. So your chiropractor can sit with you and take a history of what happened. They can interview you about how the injury occurred, and they can give their interview notes to the medical doctor to do the evaluation, sign off on it, and send it in. So there's a lot of things a chiropractor can do. The problem we have is there's this misunderstanding or misconception that you can't see a chiropractor in OWCP, but that couldn't be further from the truth. You can. There are many things the chiropractor cannot do and bill for. That's just the way that goes, and they understand it. But there are many things they can do, and so we focus on that, and we make sure everyone stays in their lane. The medical doctor has a job. The PAs and nurse practitioners have jobs, the chiropractors have jobs, the assistants have jobs, and they all have to just stay in their lane and do what's within their scope of practice and do what Department of Labor says they can and can't do. So yes, that was a long answer for yes, you can see chiropractors in OWCP under the right circumstances.
Sandra Strong said, what if I'm already seeing my Kaiser doctor for plantar fasciitis? Can I still file work comp?
Yeah, but your Kaiser doctor... I think you will find, unless your doctor is the exception to the rule, you will have a hard time getting your claim accepted because they're not trained on how to write narrative reports. You know, I do this training. I train doctors for a living on how to write these reports, and doctors that I'm training that are new at this, their first or second reports typically come out really bad, okay, and they've got to do complete rewrites of them, and they're being trained by me. So imagine a doctor that's not being trained and doesn't have the benefit of what I know. They can get lucky, and if they get lucky, they can get your claim approved. But I worry that they won't because usually they don't.
Paul, so you say, I was hired and worked as a tree climber and tore my shoulder climbing a tree. DOL closed my claim due to a pre-existing condition of depression. Crazy. That's what he said, crazy. I was just reading what the guy said.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't see how one relates to the other, but again, I'm not a doctor. But here's what I know. Pre-existing conditions are covered in OWCP. If your job exacerbates or worsens or accelerates a pre-existing condition, it's covered. That's the rules. So whatever your issue is, if you haven't missed your timelines, if you have a legitimate condition that has been timely filed, it should be approved, and we can help you with that.
Yes. Belinda said, I was told that my claim was denied, but it's been more than 3 years.
Okay, if it was reported within 3 years, you're good to go. If it was denied, and it's been 3 years since the denial, you've got a problem. There may still be hope, but I would need to talk it out with you or have Jennifer talk with you, and we'd be happy to do it. But as a rule, for everyone that's watching, if you miss timelines, those are hard hurdles to jump.
Yeah, this is why we tell you read every single piece of paper that DOL sends, because we've heard from people that things have been denied. They just toss the letter, not realizing it's DOL denying their stuff. Little do they know they have a week or two to scramble and find a doctor to fix it. So don't do that.
So check this out. Chapter 6 in the book is called timeframes. And timeframes are super confusing. Everybody that I know is confused by them. And the first chapter of my timeframes book, I had a lot of fun with, because I told you, basically in my own thoughts, how I think of timeframes. And I wrote them the way I think about them. Nobody can keep up. And I want you to get the book, and I want you to go to page 59 and read the first page of timeframes, because if after you read the first paragraph, if you're not confused, then you're a savant and you should come work for me. This is hard. But then I break it down afterwards and put it in English. But timeframes are really hard, but what I'll tell you about them is if you miss them, there is usually nothing anybody can do about it.
Yeah.
But if anybody can, it's me, and I'd like to try to take a shot at it.
So that wraps up. But we have a 9:00 meeting to take care of here, so we're trying to wrap this up early. But there are two people I wanted to give a special shout out to. One is Kevin Harper.
Hey, Kevin.
He is with AFGE, and he is NVP Mollett's right hand
In
and
District
a lot
5.
in District 5 for AFGE, and he wrote the most sweetest words to us today. That, you know, we were doing some things today, and I read it and I teared up,
And honestly,
and Chris teared up, but he didn't want to
don't tell anybody.
say anything.
But I did a little bit. It was,
It was very heartfelt.
yeah, I really appreciate, and so many of you come on and you say
Yeah.
such nice things. I mean, we
It
have
hits
nothing
us
but
after.
we have nothing but positive reviews on this page. There's not a single negative review.
Yeah.
Occasionally, some lunatic will come on and heckle, and that's fine because you all usually
We all know who he is.
usually take care of. No, they usually take care of the hecklers for us. We don't have to do anything. But Kevin said a thing that was just so touching.
Yeah.
And we really are not going to go over the details of it because it's really private. But I want to say thank you to Kevin for thinking of us that way. The fact that we made a difference the way he said we made a difference is really touching, and we won't forget that.
And I'll never forget, if it wasn't for him, he helped push us to get with AFGE, because he saw what our background was.
Yeah, he wouldn't
and
let us
how
give up.
He told us, just keep fighting, Gini, just keep fighting, because before it was Chris, it was me getting in with AFGE, and he said, I'm just telling you, just don't give up, keep pushing, just give it some time, keep pushing. And here we are today, and which brings me to my next thing.
Hold on, before you say the next thing, let me just say, Kevin Harper is a mountain of a man.
You guys check him out when he does his videos.
Let me tell you, and look, I'm a dude. I'm just going to tell you, that is one hell of a good-looking guy. So, anyways, every time I think of him, I'm like,
He's a
this
stud.
is me.
He's AFGE's little stud.
Like,
Not
this
little.
is
What is he,
this
7
right
feet
here.
tall?
This is like his chest.
So
I have to look up to talk to him.
We love him.
What a guy.
Yeah, and like I said, because of him, we wouldn't have gotten our foot in the door, which brings me to the next person I wanted to say. National AFGE president for AFGE, Everett Kelly, Mr. Kelly. You know, I've been showing Chris in the night, because Chris doesn't really get on Facebook much, but you're out there in DC and you get the crowd going, and it's just so, when I watch you and when we listen to you, like, we're just like, oh my God, that's Mr. Kelly. He can preach anything and he gets people to listen.
And I once asked him at a convention that he was attending, because I was just observing. I said, you know, Mr. Kelly, what does it feel like to be the most loved person in the room? And, you know, he's just too humble to really answer that with any real honesty. But it's got to feel great. This guy,
Yeah.
he's either the most loved person in the room, or those are the fakest people I've ever met. Everybody loves him. Okay?
It's like everybody has to go run up to him and give him a hug.
But then you see why, you know,
Yeah.
because he gives you your attention like you're the only person in the room when he's talking. There could be 1,000 people in the room, but in that moment, you're it. And that's a real special gift, but that comes from his heart. He's a really genuinely good person, and in my opinion, the perfect person to be in the position he's in.
He's always fun to have lunch and dinner with.
And that's not sucking up. I mean,
no,
I don't have to.
We don't talk about OWCP when we're with Mr. Kelly. No. We're like talking about basketball and everyday stuff. And we won't
call him out on the teams that he likes. Dallas Cowboys. Did I say that out loud?
No.
Yeah, Golden State.
But he's a genuine guy, and we want to sincerely thank Kevin Harper
and Mr. Kelly. Thank you,
Mr. Kelly. Thank you so much for trusting us and what we do and letting us go to all your unions and your different, VAs and getting to know all the local presidents and the NVPs and giving us a chance to letting them see what they don't really get educated on.
And Mr. Kelly really took a chance with us because I'm not going to tell you the whole story the first day that I met him. But, he had an experience, I don't want to say near death, but
no, it's not a death
for OWCP,
yeah,
it was a near OWCP death experience with a previous group that they almost worked with, which that group has made it so nearly impossible for us to help anybody else.
And that's
because
why
they
it
broke
was impossible.
Because they broke so many laws. But as a result of that, he really interviewed the hell out of us, okay? Because he wasn't going to have that happen twice.
I remember meeting him in Anniston, Alabama, the first time it was me. I met him 3 times before Chris even came into the picture of meeting him. And I never gave up. And, he made me cry at dinner when Chris met. He goes, what I loved about Gini, he was telling Chris, that she was always persistent and she didn't give up. And we want you guys all to know we will never give up on any one of you. Yeah. And we will always be there to fight for you. And that's genuinely coming, because if he says it, he's just going to start crying.
That's why I hired her as my wife.
You hired me as your wife? Wow. This meeting is going to take a little longer. Anyway, we hope you guys got enough information on what to do tonight, on what do you do when your claim gets denied, not waiting, less than 20 days to file your reconsiderations.
Get them done.
Don't pay for doctors to write your narratives. Don't fall into the category where somebody is going to ask you for money up front. Like this lady that we talked to in Texas, I think she said she spent over $5,000 paying this guy, and she's going to drop him now and come on over to federal injury centers. And
after that, they never even heard of a scheduled award. Like this guy took all their money and didn't even tell them they might be able to recoup some of it in a scheduled award. It's unbelievable.
She only found out till she watched our video that day.
I could rant for the next hour. We don't really have time for that, but
anyways,
don't do that to yourself.
And what to do when you're about to retire and you get an injury? Don't be scared. Go ahead and file it.
Never wait ever, no matter who you are.
And those of you that your supervisors tell you don't have 3 years from the date of your injury, you do. And
show them the book.
With the CA2, it's the date you realize it was a work injury, and you have 3 years for that as well.
Yeah.
And they have to fill the information out and
give you copies back.
The lady that I talked to messaged yesterday, I told her, she said her union rep is on it helping her file a grievance, and they're going to call OSHA. They listened to our program in the office and told her supervisor about it. So she was showing the supervisor the video where we're talking to supervisors.
So in the last minute we have, I want to just take another second of the minute to let you know we have offices in McKinney, Texas, Memphis, Tennessee, Birmingham, Alabama, actually Bessemer, but you all know Birmingham, right here in Clearwater, Florida. We got offices in Quincy and Norwood, Massachusetts. And another coming soon. We've already got a commitment from Oak Cliff, which is South Dallas, Texas. And our doctor in Clearwater has commitments for 14 other offices between Fort Myers, Florida, which is the very southern tip,
Miami.
all the way up, from there, all the way up to three of the boroughs in New York.
Yeah, in South Carolina, Nashville, Tennessee, or Chattanooga, and Georgia. So I think Augusta, Georgia. So they're opening along the East Coast. So be patient.
And we're in talks with another doctor who happens to be in New Orleans, which is exciting because that's my other favorite place to be. So I hope that that doctor decides to come on. And we are in the planning phases of attending a couple of conventions over the next couple of months, where these conventions will be loaded with doctors that we'll have a chance to meet with one-on-one. So we really are doing everything we can. Now that things are opening back up, We're trying to get in the faces, so to speak, of as many human doctors as possible and get them on board with you. So thanks for keeping on coming back to this. We really appreciate it. Those of you that got the book already, thanks for that. I really appreciate that. When you got one for your friend as well, thank you for that. We've given away nearly 100 free books because the goal is to get it in your hands. So occasionally I'll do a buy one, get one free. Not tonight. But go ahead and pick up your copy tonight. I'll have it shipped out tomorrow. It's always shipped out. It's usually shipped out within a day. You know, help as many people as you can and tell as many people as you can about this. And like and follow this page. Do not leave this page without liking and following it. It's so easy. Like and follow.
Those of you that are in the McKinney area, we left about 15 books there. Talk to Juanita or Jennifer and they'll get you a copy.
That's right.
So with that said, we hope you learned a few more things with us tonight. And don't forget, it's www.breakingowcp.com. $14.95 free shipping, and we will see you all next Wednesday.
Thank you and good night.
Bye.